Hi, this is Kathy Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this month's Project of the Month. This month we're going to create gift tags, whether they're for the holidays, birthday, Valentine's Day, or any other personal use. Everybody enjoys getting a personalized embroidered gift tag. The first thing I want you to do is double left mouse click on your Floriani icon on your desktop. This will open your Floriani software, and the first thing you'll see as our software opens up is My Floriani Today screen. This screen comes up deliberately. We do not allow you to get rid of it because we always have lots of good information on it. Now you will only see this screen if you are connected at that time to the internet. You do not need to be connected to the internet for the Floriani software to work properly. But it is important to know that if you're connected to the internet, you're going to get a lot of good information. So I recommend, if you don't normally have the internet on your computer, that at least once a month you come in here and check, because this will always give you what is on sale at our dealers. It will show you any offers we have available for you, and we have lots of really good information on here. Now, I will explain these boxes to you. What's new in the Floriani software, that's if we have anything new, any new tools, any new things that we've got coming for you. You can download your Floriani workbook and lesson files. This workbook has been compiled by DJ Anderson, Walter Floriani, and worked on very hard by our educators to give you the latest and greatest in our lessons in our books. How to download videos. Now, we do have lots of videos available on our website that are not included in your software that you can go ahead and download, because as we get new questions, new challenges, we like to make videos and put them up for you so you can go over there and download a video on how to. We have our support forum that we recommend highly that you join. This will give you a lot of good information. Our online manuals, our software support, this is where you're going to go anytime you have a challenge with the software. Whether you're having installation issues or you just can't remember where a tool is, you can always go to our software support. Our lessons from the master videos, these are videos that are done by the master Walter Floriani himself. And we recommend highly these videos, as Walter has a wealth of information that he's more than willing to share with you. Our facts, and our facts page has lots on it. If you're having installation problems, you've got step-by-step picture shot instructions on how to. Got a lot of good information on our facts. Our stabilizers and threads, anytime you need information on those, you can be taken directly to our website. And our need digitizing help. Now, this is not help as in how to use the software. This is if you've got a logo or something you need digitized, this will take you directly to a company that we feel is reputable, that we work with, that you can send your artwork to and have them digitize it for you for a nominal fee. Now, down at the bottom we have Create a New Design, which will just open our page so we can get started. We've got Open an Existing Design. Of course, you can go anywhere in your computer to open this design. That means if you have an external jump drive, if you have a hard drive, if you've got it on CD, if you have it on your memory stick or your jump drive, all you have to do is go right here and you can open it from anywhere in your computer. Also, if you have other software brands, if you have another brand of software that has a cache of designs, you can bring those into the Floriani software too, as remember, we will open every single format on the market. Our Open Recently Used, if you've been following my projects of the month, you know I really love this because it brings up the last design where I was working on it, because sometimes when we've closed down in a hurry, or it's gotten late at night and we never see that file again. We can't remember where we left it. So by using Open Recently Used, it will come right up for you. So let's go ahead and get started, and we are going to create a new design. Oh, excuse me, there's one other thing I would like to tell you. If you notice along the top, it says New Release, version 3.37, click for details. This will tell you about the latest version and give you a link to a download to always download our latest version. Remember, we have updates quite frequently for you, and we want you to have easy access to them. But you always want to make sure prior to updating that you do not already have that version. So we always want to check before we download a new version what version number we have, and I will show you how to check that in 1 second. Let's go ahead and click on Create a New Design. By left mouse clicking, this screen will come up. So now we're ready. This is our workspace, but I want you to notice right here this little letter I. That if I put my cursor over it, it gives me About. It's going to display my program information. So by left mouse clicking on it, I see that I have version 3.37, so I would have no need to update. So before updating, always check and make sure you have the latest version. Okay, now that we've got our workspace up, we're going to talk about making our workspace work for us. And I always like to do that because that means that I will always have some parameters to follow. So the first thing I want you to notice is my ruler bar. You will notice that right now I've got lots of numbers along here, and if I right mouse click anywhere along my ruler bar, I will get a dialog box, and you notice it says metric. So that means these numbers are metric right now, and I can also tell because at the end right here, at the far right hand end, it says it's metric, MM. But I need inches today, so I'm going to left mouse click on inches, and that quickly it has changed, and again it tells me right here that I am working in inches. Now the reason we're going to inches today is we're going to work on our gift cards. So the first thing I want you to do is set up your workspace, and I want it in 1/4 inch squares so that I know that I've got 4 squares to every inch when I work. So again, I will right mouse click on my ruler bar, and I call it, this is my terminology, right mouse click for treasure, because you can always find extra options if you right mouse click. Now I'm going to go down to grid settings and left mouse click. Now my grid settings box will come up, and I have got my maintain aspect ratio box selected because I have the same number in both boxes. If for some reason you have separate numbers in these boxes, you will deselect maintain aspect ratio, and you will type in both of your numbers. But as you can see, I have the same number in both boxes, so I only need to change the number in one for the other box to change. So for instance, if I wanted to go to 1 inch, as I typed in 1, you notice I have 1 inch here. So I am actually going to type in 0.25 because we want to have 1/4 inch squares. I will say OK, and now I have 4 squares to the inch on my workspace. This helps me maintain perspective, and since we are going to create the outline for our gift tag, this will help us to get those tags correct. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my artwork tool, which is along the top right hand side of your toolbar, and as you notice when I hover over it, it comes up and tells me this is my artwork tool. There's a little arrow right here. Let's left mouse click on our down arrow, and I would like to select my rectangle. I'm going to left mouse click on rectangle, and I am going to hold down my left mouse key while dragging my cursor. I am just going to create a rectangle on screen. We don't care at this point what size it is. As you let go of your left mouse cursor, like magic, we have a box up here. Now I need to tell this box what size I want it to be. So I'm going to come up to my far left-hand toolbar, my vertical toolbar, and at the top is my select tool. So I'm going to left mouse click on my selection tool, and you notice I've got my box selected. It selected it automatically because that was the last thing I digitized. So now I have to have it centered. That's me. I'm going to put my cursor on top of the X, and you're going to see that it becomes a hand. It's grabbing it. As soon as it has grabbed it, if you hold down your left mouse key, you can now drag this and just center it inside the crosshairs. We now know that this is centered perfectly in the screen. Now, just so you understand, whenever you send a design to your hoop, it's going to automatically center. So I just want it centered visually for me on this screen. I need to change the size of this box to reflect what my gift tag is going to be. So I am going to look at my properties, and I am going to show you we have two ways to handle this. Anytime we select any object on our screen, anything we can do to that object appears in the Properties menu right here. It's at the top right of your screen. Now this is artwork, so it tells me it's artwork. And we have a Transform tab. I'm going to left mouse click on my Transform tab, and you notice all my information on width and height comes up. I could have also just as easily right mouse clicked on my design and gone to the word Transform, and I would have ended up with the same box. So you've always got two ways to get places. Now here I'm going to change the width and the height, and I don't want it to maintain the aspect ratio because I'm going to give it specific width and height. So I am going to deselect my maintain aspect ratio by left mouse clicking and removing the check mark out of my box. I want this gift tag to be 3 inches long, and I want it to be 1.8 inches tall. I am going to apply that. So there is an artwork outline. This is not real. It's as if I sketched this out with a pencil on screen. But we're going to use this to help us draw our gift tag. So now we're going to use a digitizing tool. I want you to come up, and we have a section of tools right here. And you notice that they're all shaped and color-coded, so it makes it easy for us to work together. Now I'm going to come up and select my Run tool. It looks like a backwards C or an apostrophe. Let's left mouse click on our Run tool, and with that selected, I want you to notice it has like a little aura around it. It's kind of turned orange on my toolbar. And if we come over to the right hand side in Properties, notice now it tells me this is a run stitch, and anything I can do to the stitch just showed up. I can change the stitch length, I can change the type of run stitch it is. I can go through and do anything I want to a run stitch the minute I select it because my properties showed up. We're going to leave it at a standard, and what I want you to do is we see that this is the center of our box. I want you to come down, and you can see that right here we have this artwork line that I told you is not real. And we know that this is the center of our left-hand side. Come down to the bottom. This box is blue. I want you to come down to your color bar, and I want you to put your cursor on number 2, which is a red, and I want you to right mouse click. Now when I draw, I will draw with red because I want a separate color than my box. So as we see that we have got our center here, remember these are 1/4 of an inch. So I want you to come up 1/4 of an inch and about half. So about 3/8 of an inch is what we're really coming up. And I want you to left mouse click. Now I want you to do the same thing. You're in the middle here. Come on down 1/4 of an inch and about half, so that's about 3/8 of an inch. And left mouse click again. Now what we're going to do is we are going to come to the 1, 2, 3, the third bar across the bottom, which means it's 3/4 of an inch. We're going to come here. We're going to left mouse click, and we're just going to follow right on top of our square that we have drawn. We'll left mouse click at that corner. Left mouse click at this corner. Now we're going to do the same thing. We want to come to within 3/4 of an inch of our corner here. We're going to left mouse click there, And we're going to come and meet this first one that we started by left mouse clicking on it. Now once I've done that, I am going to right mouse click to make these points become stitches. So now right mouse click, and you notice I have the outline of my little gift tag perfectly on screen. Now that we have created our outline, I'm going to come down into my sequence view. This makes it very easy to work with colors and objects, move stuff around, and we are going to get rid of that sketch. We're going to get rid of our original square. That's why we selected a different color to make it very easy. So I am going to left mouse click on color number 1. It will highlight it, and I want you to hit your delete key. And now notice when we click off of our image that all we have on screen is the outline of our gift tag. With that box gone and our gift tag here, I want you to click on color 2 in your sequence view so it has selected your gift tag. And I want you to put your cursor inside it anywhere and right mouse click. It's going to give me options. We've right mouse clicked for treasure. Now I can come right down here to convert to. We are going to change this into an applique. So let's convert to, come down to the word applique and left mouse click on it. I have now turned that original piece of artwork, drew my outline, and I have now got an applique. The next thing I need to do with this gift tag is I've got to have some kind of hole in it so that I can put my string or my ribbon through it to tie it to my gift. So again, I'm going to go after my artwork tool. I'm going to left mouse click and I am going to select the ellipse. Now I want to kind of center this. Now I know that these are all 1/4 of an inch, remember. So I'm going to come in here to this 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to come in about almost 1/2 an inch. Well, yeah, well, you can see where I'm coming in. We've got our first bar, and then I'm going to come in between those 2 bars. Now I'm just going to draw a circle, but I'm going to go ahead and use one of these 1/4 of an inch squares to do it. So I'm going to start at the top of any of them. I'm going to hold down my left mouse key and I am going to drag this circle so it's about a 1/4 of an inch around, and I'm going to let go, and I've got a little artwork circle. We are going to come up and to the top of our left hand toolbar again. We're going to left mouse click on our selection tool. That will select it. And again, I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to convert this to an applique. Notice when I convert it to an applique, anything I can do came up in my properties box. Again, we've got that wonderful properties box that takes care of everything for us. Now you can see that this is very small. We know that that circle started out as 1/4 of an inch. So I need my stitches not to be so wide. So I need to change my stitch width. And I'm going to change that to 2.5. So it's now 2.5 millimeters wide when I hit apply. So let's left mouse click on apply. And now it's gone to a good size. I have a nice size hole that I can use my stiletto to poke a hole in to tie my string through. So let's go ahead and let's move this, and we see that this is about a 1/4 of an inch away. Let's pull it up about another half of that, centering our little circle, and let go. So now I have a gift tag with a hole in it. And if you don't like how you've centered it and you need to just nudge it, with it highlighted, hold your control key and use your arrow keys to move it so that you can center it along this line, because remember, this line is our center line using our grid. So now I have that where I like it, and I know that it's centered and it looks very nice. with this completed, I want to show you another little trick. Let's select our Applique Outline. Now you notice immediately everything came up. Now how did I select that? I put my cursor on it and I did my left mouse click. I also could have come over to my sequence view, and you see I have one color red, but both of my appliques are red. But do you notice I have two applique shapes in here? So I can left mouse click on applique shape number 1 because that's the first one I digitized. Now that I have selected it, I am going to come up here and tell it, you know, I don't really need a tack down line. I don't need to stitch one out. So I am going to remove the tack down line because we don't need it in this case, and I am going to apply that. So it has removed one of the lines out of my applique. So with this tag shape and our hole taken care of, we are going to save this as a template. Because now anytime I want to create a gift tag, I've already got my template created. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to File, Save As. Now we're going to do two things here. I always without exception, when I create a design, I always save it in the native format of our software, which is C2S. That is just always good practice. Now, will we read all of our control points and everything if I save it in any other format? Absolutely. But it's always good practice to save every single design you create. If you've really done a lot of work, always save it in the native format, because there is always, in any software, I don't care what it is, because computers are computers, there's always the chance of corrupting some little bit of information as you save through different formats. So if you always save a clean one, no matter what happens, you've always got that original. And since it's not in your machine format, you don't ever mistakenly take it out to put in your machine and then change it in the machine and forget you changed it and then lose that design. So let's always save as. This is our C2S format, and I'm going to save this as tag template, and in my case I'm going to put number 2 because I've already created this before, and I'm going to save it. Now we're going to do a second save. I want you to notice in the applique right now, I want you to look over here under all items. It has our applique tool symbol. So if you come up to our top toolbar, there it is. Now within this does have a placement line. We removed the tack down line because we're not putting any fabric in this. We're going to use cardstock. And we have our finished satin stitch. They are both red, which is not a problem for most machines. All commercial machines, they read the fact that the software tells it to stop. But some of our home machines only read stop if the color changes. So since these colors don't change, your machine may or may not stop. So we don't want to risk that and you not getting your cardstock down or some other applique. So as a fail-safe, we're going to go to File, Save As, and we're going to save this as a DST design. This is a commercial format. I want you to click on DST, and I want you to save this template. Now we are going to close the template on our screen because we've got it saved both as C2S and DST. We are now going to open it, and I am going to go to Tag Template 2 because that's what I named mine, DST, and I'm going to open it. And I want you to notice something. You're going to notice it didn't come up red. Because DST is a commercial format, it does not hold the colors that we have assigned to it. It's a basic format that almost every single commercial digitizer digitizes in. Every machine on the market will read this format. If you have a Brother machine, you can put a DST in there and it will read it. If you have a Baby Lock, it will read it. If you have a Viking, a FOF, the only machine on the market that will not read DST is Bernina. It will only read EXP as its commercial format. But I do want you to notice that right now I came out with, there's my tack down line, and it is blue. Now it has one little tie-off stitch here, and that would have been the red, that would have been my other tack down line. And then it has my satin stitch. So as you can see, we have effectively gotten rid of the fact that it's all one color. You notice my second applique. Here is our tack down in orange and our satin stitch in yellow. So now we have created a very nice tag template. We have separated the colors in case your machine does not read the stop. It needs the color to change. That has been taken care of. So now what I want to do is, number one, I want to come up here and I'm going to go ahead and leave this guy blue. That's not a problem for me. Now I do want to change my color number 3. I want it to be color number 2 because I wanted this red. So I'm going to select it and I am going to put my cursor down on my color bar and I'm going to right mouse click and change that to red. And as you can see, it changed to red right here. I'm going to come to my tack down line for my circle and I'm going to right mouse click on color number 1 and I'm going to grab my yellow and I'm going to right mouse click on color number 2. So now you can see we have got our tack down lines and our satin stitch. What I want to do now is come along the bottom. Do you see I have 5 colors listed here? I don't have 5 colors in the design. So I can come along the bottom here all the way to the far right hand side and you're going to see a green plus and a red minus. Left mouse click on the minus and it is going to remove all the colors you're not using in this design. So now that I have this tag template made, I am going to save it in the format that I normally stitch in, and that way I will bring this up all the time to fill in whatever wording I want. So we're going to now save this a 3rd time. We're going to save as, and in this case today I think I'm going to save it in PEZ and I'm going to pick version 5. The reason I pick version 5 is it does not require me to tell it the size hoop I want to use because I don't always know. So I don't want to be limited right now. So left mouse click on version 5 and now we are going to save this as tag template. Again, we're going to keep the same name, but it's now going to have the PES extension. Now if you had a Bernina, you would be picking EXP. If you have a FOF, you've got your VIP, your VP3, and so forth. So you pick your extension that your machine reads to save as. I will now save that. So I now have this template saved and I'm ready to go. Well, I'm going to go ahead and leave this up here and I'm going to design. Now right now we're at the holidays and we may be very close or we may have just passed the holidays for you. But let's do a very quick holiday gift tag. So let's come up here to our A. There's a giant black A on the top right hand end of your screen. That is your text tool. Let's left mouse click on it. Now that I have done that, you notice there is an A stuck to my cursor. That way I realize I have selected my alphabet tool, my text tool. If there's not an A stuck to your cursor, you didn't push it good enough. You notice, of course, it's got that orange aura around it, the little orange look. So now on my screen anywhere, I am going to left mouse click. And you will see I have a giant A show up on my screen. This brings up my properties. Everything I can do to my lettering just showed up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type Merry on the top line. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to type in Christmas. I could type in Happy Holidays. And I am going to change the height. Now remember, we're in inches. Do you see right here it tells me I'm in inches? So remembering, we're still thinking in inches. I'm going to make this point 3.5 inches tall, which is not quite half an inch, bigger than 1/4 of an inch. And I am going to apply that. Oh, I'm going to also, pick my alphabet. Now I have picked times. You can scroll through and pick different alphabets, but remember, we are stitching on cardstock. Now you can use other alphabets, but make sure, remember, these are smaller letters. We don't want them to close, the holes to close up in them. I have found times works very well, but you can experiment with different alphabets because we will be using a medium cutaway stabilizer so that it will help hold, but we don't want to perforate the paper so bad that your gift tab pops apart. So I'm going to select times right now, and I've got my 0.35, everything looks good, and I'm going to apply that. And you can see there is my Merry Christmas. Now I'm not going to change anything about this. I have all my control points. I could say, well, you know, I have more room, and I could say I want to make this, you know, a little bigger or smaller. I wouldn't make it any smaller. Let's keep with bigger if we want to do anything on this. But we could change the size a little bit. I could rotate it if I wanted to. If I wanted to kind of do something fun with it, I could maybe make it arc a little, but I could have any kind of fun with it I wanted. Now I want it like I stated in the first place, so I'm going to right mouse click and tell it to reset, because it will bring it back to how it looked, size and everything, when I brought it in. So now I've got this here, and I'm going to set it down in here, and I can move it around until I like where it is. Put it up some, and I didn't bring it to the, let me go ahead and make sure it's 3.5. I want it 3.5 because I've worked with this and I know that fits well in here. So I can stick it in, and I can still move the lettering around later if I wish. Now I obviously do not want blue letters, and I sure don't want them to be red too. Now remember, you're going to pick cardstock that's different colors, so always think of what your background's going to be. I need some more colors down here, but I had already reduced it. And so my software sees I'm only working with 2 colors. Let's come on down the line right here, and let's add a couple of colors. So I can go ahead and plus, and I'm going to plus it twice just so I have some other colors to work with here. And I am going to select this by getting my select tool. My lettering is selected, and I'm going to right mouse click on green because I think I want that to be green. So now I have my Merry Christmas in here, and we want to maybe dress it up some. So we are going to use, and I'm going to recommend this for all your tags, we have a bunch of symbols in here that you can play with. And it makes it really nice to decorate these tags. These symbols are not very dense. They stitch out beautifully, and you can add them to these tags for all different occasions. So let's left mouse click on here. Let's go to select, and I'm going to come through here and I'm going to pick the candy cane. Now as you can see, we've got lots of symbols to pick from. You could have picked your Christmas tree, you could pick just anything you want. But let's come up here and let's go ahead and pick our candy cane. You're going to select it by left mouse clicking on it, and you can't see it. But the minute you click on your screen, now I am not going to do anything but left mouse click. So just left mouse click, and there's my candy cane. I am going to move over, and I'm going to left mouse click again. So now, as you can see, I've got 2 candy canes. as many times as I want to click, I could add candy canes. I only want 2. I'm going to come up now to my select tool, and I'm going to select, and of course it's going to highlight the last candy cane I used. So I'm going to bring my candy cane in, and I'm going to take and select my other candy cane by left mouse clicking on it. And I want to mirror image that one. I think I'm going to flip it vertically. Oh, I'm sorry. Horizontally. And I'm going to cross my candy canes. Now, I was doing this and thought how nice that would be to put them like that if you were thinking about maybe breast cancer awareness, even though we're red and white here. Or we can go ahead, now that we've done this, we can go ahead and flip it. There we go. Well, vertically now that we flipped it horizontally, we can flip it vertically. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this candy cane around, and I am having a problem here, obviously, with getting my candy canes like I want them. But I'm rotating them, and I'm going to flip you. There we go. Now I've got it. Tell you sometimes. And we can flip our candy canes, and we can move them in. Whoops, I don't want to move that guy. Remember, undo is your friend. You ever grab anything and move it you don't want to do, come up to the top and undo. And let me tell you, I've done this several times, and for some reason, right now, isn't it nice to know what happens to all of us? There. Now, if I flipped you again, and I flipped you, why am I having a problem? There we go. Oh, yay! Finally. I've got them where I want them. Now, I could select both these candy canes by, I've got one selected, hold down my control key, select the other, and I could pull them down, and I can adjust them. I can adjust them individually. This guy, I don't like how he is. I'm going to pull him down a little more, and there we go. But I can play with these candy canes and put them however I want on the screen, and I can create me a cute little gift card. I could set a candy cane at this end, rotate him and stand him up, and I could put a candy cane at this end, rotate him and stand him up. But you get the idea. You can play, you can do whatever you like, you can put as many in there, you could change whatever symbol you want, but you can create a personalized gift tag. And I'm going to tell you, I did these for Hanukkah, and they were a hit. Everything I did was embroidered gift tags, and they thought they were just great. I thought it would be kind of cute. You could pull one of these and lay it down and let the Christmas sit on a big candy cane. So you can see we can have a lot of fun with that. So we've got our gift tag created. You could move your lettering around again by clicking on it using your control key and your arrows to kind of nudge it around. So you could get it where you liked it with your candy canes in here. But go ahead and play with that and see what you can do to create your own customized gift tag. Once that is done, we are going to come over here and we're going to do a couple of things. I'm going to collapse this. If you notice, a lot of times you'll be clicking in here and you'll hit one of these pluses and you see all this stuff. And it looks confusing, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. The first thing I'm going to do is right mouse click in here, and if I say collapse all, it's going to close everything up nice and tight so I can look at things by color. Now we have got our color number 1, which we know is going to stitch out the outline. Color number 2 is going to actually do our total finish stitch around the edge of our gift card. Well, you know, I want it to stitch out last because I need to put the back of my gift tag on. So this is what's going to hold the front to the back. So we're going to drag this so it stitches out very last. The next thing I want to do is I don't want, now you notice that we've got, I have Floriani colors. For some reason, when I am bringing in my symbols, and I just noticed this and I have already sent it to our tech support, since Floriani is my default thread chart, these symbols should be coming in Floriani colors, but as you can see, for whatever reason, they came in Madeira. But that's not a problem because I'm just going to fix it. I am going to select my candy cane color here, my red, and I'm going to left mouse click on color number 2. Because when I select it, it selects my candy cane, and I'm going to change it to color number 2. I'm going to change this one. Oh no, I'm not. I'm going to undo because I forgot about the white. I did not deal with the white. So we don't want to do that because they are grouped. So I'm going to come in here and select my candy cane. I will right mouse click on it, and I'm going to tell that to ungroup. Now let me show you why I'm doing that. When I ungroup it, when I select the red, I want you to notice the white is left alone. But if I select this candy cane, the white and red get selected together because when that design was finished, the digitizer grouped it so it would be easy for you to move it around and not grab pieces of it. So now that I've selected this and I've just got the red, I'm going to select the red on here because now let's look at this drop down menu. Underneath this red that I've selected, see if I select the candy cane from here, do you see how I just get pieces? But if I select the red here, I'm going to get all the red. Now this shows us how that candy cane was digitized. They started out with these run stitches. They go run. You can see it running down the middle here. So there's your run. That's your underlay. It came down and came back up. Then there's your first little satin block down here at the bottom. Here's your next satin block. Here's your next one. This makes it extremely easy if you ever need to go through a design and fix a little piece of it or change. What if I wanted to make this candy cane red and green striped? Do you realize by grabbing these sections of colors I could change just that section? So it makes it very easy to deal with. That is why you have the ability to see an expanded view. We're not going to mess with any of that. I just wanted to change it to my Floriani red. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this candy cane. Again, I'm going to right mouse click and ungroup him because I want those colors ungrouped, and here's that candy cane. And I'm going to change it to color number 2. Makes it very easy. Now, I can come over here to the white, and I could have done this with the candy canes, but I want you to see our different options. See, I didn't have to grab that candy cane and change it to the Floriani color that way. I could have just grabbed it, come up here and said, look, I want Floriani, I don't want Madeira. And now it has changed it to Floriani, or I could say I know Floriani white is 800. Say OK. And now all the white on here is no longer Madeira. It is now Floriani. So we just want to make sure that the rest of these candy canes are changed to the Floriani. That way we've got actually 4 colors working now. I also want to show you, if I come down here, you can see all the way to the end how we've done everything. Of course, there's my end. And let's right mouse click and let's tell it to collapse all. So we can see it's going to stitch out the outline. It's going to stitch out, oh, it's going to stitch our hole out. Well, you know, I need to pull this down as well because I want that to stitch through both pieces of tag board. So we always want to look through our designs to make sure it's doing what we want. So there's my placement line. There is, and the reason we don't need a placement and a tack down line in this, and you will see this when we stitch it out, we are going to put an entire sheet of tag board in our hoop. We just need to stitch down once. We're not going to cut these little pieces out because that's too much trouble. They'll pull apart so beautifully once it's been perforated that it's not worth your time or effort to try and cut this out. Next, it's going to do our lettering. Then we're going to have our white, and we're going to have our red, and we're going to have our white, and then it's going to do the final red, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem for us because we don't want it to do that last red with the final tag board, because we need that back stitches covered. So we always go through and check this out. And the reason I have done this exercise this way today is to show you how we get past these challenges. See, I haven't removed my extra colors yet. So that last one right here, I'm going to just click and make it orange. Right mouse click. Now, oh, undo is our friend. We don't want all of it. We just want, well, we're going to grab this one, this red. We're going to grab our outline red and change it to orange. That will fix that problem. Now what I'm going to do, now that I've done that, again, I'm going to collapse my, here is that little red stitching. The first thing I'll do is I'll take this white, I'll move it up to stitch with this white. Okay, so now when the white stitch, you're going to get both stitching out at the same time, which means one less color change. Now I've done that, collapse all, I am going to look at this and I am going to say, okay, I've got my white, now I've got my red. So we're stitching out fine. Now we've got the orange and we've got our little circle again. So now we have to think through this. If I don't want to change the thread on my machine a lot, we don't want that to be a separate color. Now my machine's going to stop. So I wouldn't have to take the thread off the machine, but if you're using a 6 needle, that would be a problem because the machine would automatically change needles. So what do I need to do? Well, I know I'm going to change and I'm going to have my candy cane stitch out before my lettering. So let's grab my lettering and bring it down. And now I've got red here, green here. So now when I come here, I can change this back to my red by left mouse clicking. Now I could have done that to start with, and I realize that. But I want to show you and teach you a lot of the different options that when we get stuck, we're not really sure what to do, and a lot of times we'll toss the design and start over. When we don't need to toss the design and start over, we can actually just think it through over in our sequence view and see what we can do. Now the last thing I would do on something like this, because it's critical that our machine go through the colors in the correct order. So let's watch this draw out and think of how this is going to happen, and I'll explain it as we do. The first thing that's going to happen is we're going to hoop up stabilizer, and you will see this in will be taught this in your shop, where you're going to hoop your stabilizer first. Then you're going to spray your tag board with either 505 KK2000, going somewhere where you're not going to breathe the fumes, and you're going to stick this to the inside of your hoop on top of your your cutaway medium. So you're going to have a full sheet. So now as we stitch, and this lets you determine how fast your simulation will go. I want it to go slow. What it's going to do is it's going to stitch the outline on the tag board of our tag. Okay, so it's going to stitch that outline, and it's going to stitch our little circle. Now it's going to go ahead and put in our candy canes, which is perfect. We can speed it up a little bit here. So let's watch our candy cane stitch. So our candy canes will stitch. The red will go on them. The next thing that should stitch is our lettering, which is Merry Christmas. We're going to stitch it out. And after Merry Christmas goes, of course, we know our machine will stop at the end of the green color. Our simulation won't stop unless we stop it. So we're going to stop it at the end of this green. And if we can hurry it up by grabbing our cursor, holding down our left mouse key and pulling it forward. So when I get to my red, I'm going to stop. Come here, baby. Let's Stop. Okay. Now I want you to notice it started to stitch this because I didn't get it stopped in time. But when we're at this point and all this is done and we're ready, our machine, we're going to stop. And now we are going to take our hoop off the machine and we're going to put our second piece of tag board on the back. We're going to lightly spray it and stick it to the back of our hoop. Then we will let our design continue, and what it's going to do is put our satin stitch around the edge. It will also put the satin stitch around our little hole here. And now when I go to pull that tag board away, it's got enough little holes in it that it just pulls right off. Pulls off beautifully. Now I'm going to show you something else we can do that I think is really cool. We're going to take this tag, and I need to fill my hoop up. I don't want to waste any of my cardstock, and I want to get this done as quickly as possible. So I am going to select the hoop I would be using. Now in my case, I'm going to put this on my Brother 6-needle machine. Baby Lock has a 6-needle, Janome has a 4, I think Bernina is selling the Happy. So a lot of us are, more and more of us are buying machines that are large embroidery only machines. So I'm going to pick my large hoop, which is my 300 by 200, and with that picked, I'm going, and how did I do that? Excuse me. I'm going to come down to the left-hand side of my screen. I'm going to left mouse click on my hoop icon, and all the hoops that are available in our software just came up. And believe me, we add hoops all the time. But we cannot always keep up with our machine manufacturers because excuse me, new machines come out all the time. So we're going to select our Brother Baby Lock for me. You pick the hoop that you want, and if it doesn't have a hoop that you can use, you can say new, and you can create your hoop. Create your hoop, call it my FOF large hoop, my mega hoop, my macro hoop, whatever the name of that hoop is for you. Put it in here and it will remain in here for you. So again, I'm going to go to my Brother and I'm going to pick my 300 by 200 and I'm going to apply that. So where is my hoop? That's a good one. There it is. I had to close my slow redraw. Now with that in there, I am going to hit Control A. Hold down your Control key and your A key, and it's going to select everything on your screen. This is a Windows command. It will work in any Windows program. With that done, I'm going to come down my left-hand side to my Rotate icon, and I'm going to rotate this twice so it's standing straight up. I'm going to just move this up here to the corner. And now I'm going to show you one of our other tools that I absolutely love. It's a new tool, and I'm going to come up to my Tools menu, and I want you to come down and select Repeat. But we're going to wait just a second. I have to think this through because I'm in inches. I need to work with metric when I'm putting stuff in this hoop because my hoop's done metric. Let's come up here. Let's right mouse click. And let's select metric. Now let's Control A, go to my tools, and go to repeat. Now, this is asking me how many of these could I get in a hoop at once? Well, I already know because I've stitched out Hanukkah tags. I can get 5 across and 2 down. Now, I also, if you notice, there's no space in between these, so I could not get them apart. I'm going to put 6 millimeters. That's why it's important that this be in millimeters. If you put 6 inches in between these, you'd have to figure out 1/10 of an inch or so many tenths of an inch. This is much easier to deal with in millimeters. Now you could have dealt with it in inches, but I'm telling you for spacing like this and hoops and stuff, we deal much better with millimeters. Now here's the next cool thing. I want this to auto resequence this whole design by color. In other words, I want it to stitch down all 10 outlines, then all the candy canes, then all the Merry Christmas, then the inside. I have to change thread 100 times. So auto sequence by color is going to cause it, and you notice the minute I click that, it's showing me what it will look like in my hoop. Well, I can see I've got space. I'm okay. So I'm going to apply that and say, all right, now I'm going to bring this down. See if, make sure, double check that, make sure it fits in your hoop. It does. So now I'm going to save this to my machine format and take it and stitch it out in my machine. You can see how much fun and how easy this would be to do. Now I am going to just bring up a couple of other designs just to show you some of the other designs that I did, just so you can look at and see some of your options. Here's a Be Mine Valentine. I kept that same template and I just did it for Valentine's Day. I did a happy birthday tag for my son Jake. So you can see, using your symbols, how many options you have, how much fun you can have, and how personalized your gift tags can be. Change your colors, do whatever you want. Remember what needs to stitch out last. Very, very simple. Also, another idea is you could have made this, say, 5 inches long and 2 inches wide and created a beautiful bookmark. Doing the same thing. You could have put a little poem on it, a little saying on it. I mean, think of how nice that is for some of those teacher gifts, or those little gifts for your sewing friends when you're going to a little cookie exchange or something. So it has a lot of use, and we haven't used any tag board. And I know we have a lot of scrapbookers out there in our audience, in our embroidery world, that are now into scrapbooking, and I wanted to bring some of what they do that is so wonderful into our embroidery that we're used to. A lot of us are just used to embroidering on, traditional objects, fabrics, garments, quilts. With this, it gives us some further options to go on and start thinking about maybe doing some of our own greeting cards. Why couldn't you do a card on tagboard? So now that you've got the idea, we will go ahead and go to the construction portion of our class, and I want to thank y'all for coming today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope this is something you'll have a lot of fun with. Experiment with your different fonts and stuff in your computer to see what you can do. I would take a piece of tagboard, stick it in my hoop, and try a few little alphabets. If I find an alphabet I really like that I'd like to use, just make sure it doesn't perforate your paper to death. But with using your medium cutaway in there, I know that it will allow you, because I made 90 gift tags and I didn't have one of them fall apart. So I want to thank y'all, and I hope you had a great day. We'll see you again next month. Bye-bye.